Hello friends, good afternoon all. Welcome to the fortnight current affairs. In today's session, we are going to look to the important national and international news of past 2 weeks from 1st to 15th April 2021. My name is Gautam Dikshit. So today, the first important news is Global Gender Gap Report 2021, which has come after the 1 year of pandemic. In this Global Gender Gap Report, which is released by World Economic Forum, the report measures the level of gender parity based on 4 factors. The 4 factors are economic participation and opportunity, means as compared to male, how many numbers of women are employed in jobs. Then educational attainment in comparison to male, what are the numbers of women or what are the percentage of women who are receiving education. Health and survival of the women, especially measured by maternal mortality rate. Then political empowerment, it shows that how much the women are politically empowered in any country, what are their participation in decision making process, parliament and state legislative assembly. In this report of 2021, the Iceland has topped the list, scoring 0.892. Now here students, you have to give the little attention that in most of the indexes there are countries, Scandinavian countries, who top the list. Over here it is little different from those. It is Iceland which has topped the list this time. Now what is the score of India in this? The India has ranked 140th. The India's rank is 140 and the score is 0.625. Now why India has a very low ranking? So as you know that India still has a problem, is still struggling on attaining the gender parity. So some of the reasons are India has its lowest ranking in health and survival of women. If you will see, the maternal mortality rate in India is still very high. The third is economic participation of women. The economic participation of women, as you remember, a few days back the PCW economic analytical institution came up with the report that during pandemic it was the women who have lost their jobs more in number as compared to men. So economic participation and economy. So the Global Gender Gap Report, World Economic Forum. One more thing, that there are certain types of reports which are coming from different organizations. So in the majority of the report, if the first term is global, so please make sure that it will be, or most of the time it will be, World Economic Forum which will be releasing that report. Now World Economic Forum, it is a organization of developed and developing country. It holds annual sessions and the idea is to promote the global economic stability, especially after 2008 crisis. Now the World Economic Forum, here is the question for you, that the World Economic Forum is headquartered at which of the following city? The option A is Doha, B is Geneva, C is New York and D is London. The correct option is Geneva. The headquarters of World Economic Forum is at Geneva. Now the second important news which is coming from the Union Budget 2021 and 22 is that the Parliament has passed the bill for the establishment of National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development, NABFID. The Union Budget 2021 and 22 had already talked about establishing development financial institutions in India for the financing of long-term infrastructure projects. Now if you see the economic situation in India from past few years, the banks, they are struggling with non-performing assets. The growth rate in India is struggling below 5%. In such scenario, there has been also a defaulting of many large national non-banking finance companies. So the supply of fund for long-term projects, for infrastructure project, has dried up. RBI in the past has come up with certain mechanisms like long-term repo rate operations, in which it tried to supply the long-term funds to the infrastructure projects. But now after these attempts, the government has come up with the new concept called as DFI, Development Financial Institution. The Development Financial Institution will target the long-term funding for the infrastructure project, as well as they will also focus on creating bond market for infrastructure project. Now we will see that why we need National Bank for financing infrastructure and development in India, and what is going to be its function, what is to be the source of fund, and who can apply and who cannot apply. So the first thing is the objective of National Bank for financing infrastructure and development. So the most important objective is to directly or indirectly lend, means giving the money, lend, invest or attract investment in infrastructure project. Here infrastructure projects means building railways, highways, housing projects of Government of India. All these are infrastructure projects for government. So the objective is to attract the long-term finance. The long-term finance means the difference between long-term finance and short-term finance is about the payment of interest. If the payment of interest is spread over a long period of time, it is called as long-term finance, and if it is very short, then we call it as a short-term finance. For example, taking loan from scheduled commercial bank, they come under short-term finance, because the moment we take the loan, from the next month we have to pay the interest. But in the case of infrastructure project which have a long gestation period means that once you invest the money, the return of the money will take a longer time. This is called as longer gestation period. So it takes time over there. So the scheduled commercial banks are not able to fund the long-term infrastructure, the long gestation periods infrastructure projects. So that's why the government has come up with the dedicated institutions for providing long-term funds. So the first objective is clear. The second objective is facilitator for developing the bond market for infrastructure financing. So now let's understand what is the meaning of bond market over here. In bond market is a type of bond market. Here bond is a type of financial instrument in which the rate of return, which we call as yield, is fixed. It is less riskier than the equities which are traded in share market. So here the objective of NABFID is also to develop a bond market for infrastructure project, where NABFID itself will come up with the infrastructure bond. The people will buy the bond and people will be getting the fixed interest rate on that bond, and the NABFID will mobilize this fund through people for investment in infrastructure project. What is the benefit of this step? The most important benefit of developing the bond market for infrastructure project is that the dependence on scheduled commercial bank, which are already struggling with non-performing asset, will considerably get reduced. Now we will come to functions. The functions of NABFID is loans and advances to the infrastructure projects. So they can give loans or to advances to the infrastructure projects. Then refinancing of existing loans. It means if any infrastructure project has taken a loan from scheduled commercial bank, then National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development, or NABFID, can take over that loan from scheduled commercial bank, and then that scheduled commercial bank will be free of any loans. So this is called as refinancing of existing loans. Or NABFID can itself provide fund to scheduled commercial bank so that they can give money for infrastructure projects, or they can lend credit for the infrastructure project. At the same time, NABFID will also work for ensuring foreign participation in infrastructure loans. It means that NABFID will try to attract foreign direct investment in infrastructure loans. Now, sources of funds. Now this is also important, that will NABFID take money from people or directly from the people? No, NABFID will not take money directly from the people. NABFID will have its source of funds from central government, from RBI, from scheduled commercial banks, from mutual funds, then from multilateral or international funding agencies like World Bank, Asian Development Bank and New Development Bank. The next important point is that government has already set up a NABFID. Will private institutions or individual will be allowed to set up this development financial institution? Yes, they can set up the development financial institution, but for that they need to take a license from RBI, and then RBI in consultation with the central government can grant license to individuals or to private institutions to set up their own development financial institution. One more question which is important is that is NABFID is the first DFI of India? No, NABFID is not the first DFI of India. Earlier, just after independence in 1948, IFCI, Indian Finance Corporation of India, was also set up. So that was the first DFI of India. Now coming to the next important topic, Heart of Asia Istanbul process. So friends, we already know that Afghanistan since last 2 decades is the place of turmoil. It is going through internal disturbances. The democracy has not still taken root over there, and this has become a concern for the larger Asian region including India. So various multilateral and international conferences and organizations are taking place just to help to revive the democracy in Afghanistan. One of that process is Heart of Asia Istanbul process. This conference was followed by Moscow conference, which was held in Moscow in late March, where India did not participate, but rest of the countries like Pakistan, China, Russia, USA, Afghanistan and Taliban, they all were represented, and they all were trying to revive the peace process between Afghan government and Taliban government so that the elections can take place in Afghanistan. So Heart of Asia Istanbul process, this process was established in 2011 by Afghanistan and Turkey. The objective was to promote peace and stability in Afghanistan. Now this is factual information is very important. Afghanistan holds the permanent chair of Istanbul process. India is also the one of the 15 members of the Istanbul process. Then recently the ninth edition, which is important from exam point of view, the ninth edition of the Heart of Asia Summit was held in March 2021 in capital of Tajikistan called as Dushanbe. Okay, so this is very important. Now who represented India at Heart of Asia conference? India was represented by the Union Minister of External Affairs Sri Subramaniam Jaishankar, where he called for double peace. This term is important, double peace. Now what is the meaning of double peace? According to our External Affairs Minister, Afghanistan will remain stable if there is peace within Afghanistan and there is peace outside or around the Afghanistan. It means that our External Affairs Minister was suggesting that internal and external factors are both important to stabilize Afghanistan. Now this is one of the factual question which was in news. The question is, Shahatut Dam in Kabul is built by which of the following country? A. Pakistan, B. China, C. India, D. USA, E. None of the above. So here the answer is India. India is building a Shahatut Dam on Kabul River for drinking purpose in for the people of Kabul city. The name of that dam is Shahatut. The next is, and is a very important news once again, B.1.617. Okay. Now what is this? This is the new name of double mutant coronavirus which has been found in India. Okay, B.1.617 is the new name for doubly mutant coronavirus strain found in India. Doubly mutant, it contains two mutant. One mutant is E484Q, the next is L452R. Let's have a detailed look over E484Q and L452R. Now E484Q is mutation similar to the mutation found in UK, which is B.1.1.7 or E484K. It is a technical name. This is very important. B.1.1.7, it is a UK strain, and B.1351 is a South African strain. And L452R mutation is similar to the one which is found in California, which is B.1.427 and B.1.429. Now recently a report has come up in India which shows that this new strain B.1.617, which is made of these two mutants, is found in 61% of samples which have been collected in Maharashtra. So it is a cause of concern, but still it has not been proved scientifically that the recent surge in India is because of this doubly mutant coronavirus. The research is still going on, so the results till now has not been conclusive. Now let's solve this question, that recently which of the vaccine has been declared as third vaccine for use in India. So A Sputnik, B Moderna, then C Johnson & Johnson, D is Pfizer. So the correct answer is Russian made Sputnik 5 vaccine has been cleared by the government for the use in India because of recent surge in coronavirus disease. Now Baikal volume detector, it was in the news. What is the Baikal volume detector? It is the detector which aims to study neutrinos. Neutrinos are the subatomic particles which are found. It will study its origin and behavior. Okay, so now where this volume detector is located? It is located in Lake Baikal in Russia. Now there are other large neutrino observatories in the world. Let's see two of them which are very important. IceCube Neutrino Observatory in South Pole, Antares Neutrino Observatory in Mediterranean Sea. Let's study about Lake Baikal. What is the importance of Lake Baikal? Lake Baikal, it is located in Siberia in Russia. Now this is very important. It is oldest and deepest lake in the world, and it contains 20% of the world's total unfrozen fresh water. Unfrozen means the water which is not stored as in the form of ice or glacier, which is called as unfrozen reserve. It is also known as Galapagos of Russia because of rich flora and fauna, and it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now why we are studying neutrinos? Neutrinos are one of the subatomic particles which helps in to study the origin of universe in a very comprehensive manner. That's why scientists are interested in capturing the neutrino and studying its property, which will reveal the mystery of the origin of universe. Then there is Project Rehab. Now human animal conflict in India is increasing as we are developing, so to some extent we are destroying our forest also. So this is bringing human in conflict with animals. One such conflict is human elephant conflict. Elephants, they enter village, they destroy the habitations, they destroy the crops, everything. So there has been a innovative project called as Project Rehab. The full form is Project for Reducing Elephant Human Attacks Using Bees. Here bees means makhi, madhumakhi, using bees. It is an innovative project. This project is being implemented under National Honey Mission. This project, the implementing agency of this project is Khadi and Village Corporation. Okay, so what will happen in this project? Suppose this is the agricultural field. So a fence of bee boxes will be kept surrounding the field. So once the elephant tries to come in, so the elephant has to break this chain. Once the elephant breaks the chain, these boxes will be disrupted and bees will come out and attack the elephant and will save the agricultural field from elephant attack. So what is the aim? The aim is to control elephant attacks in human habitation using bee fences. The project was first launched in Nagarhole National Park and Tiger Reserve in Karnataka. Okay, now the one question for you is, sweet revolution is associated with which of the following? So the sweet revolution is associated with enhancing the production of honey and supplementing the income of farmers. Now Chenab Bridge, it was in news. So Chenab Bridge, so there are two railway links. One is Srinagar Baramulla link, Srinagar Baramulla Banihal link, and one is Katra Udhampur link. If we want to go to Kashmir, we need to go from Katra to Banihal, but because of terrain, because of Himalaya, it is impossible to go. Now what government has done? Government has built a Chenab Bridge, and now any train coming up to Katra can go to Banihal by using this Chenab Bridge. So what is the significance of Chenab Bridge? The significance of Chenab Bridge is that it brings Kashmir Valley into the railway map of India. Now any train from anywhere can reach up to Jammu and Kashmir, especially the Kashmir Valley. So let's read about it. So Chenab Bridge, it is the world's highest railway bridge as on 31st March 2021. It is the part of a larger project. That project is connecting Udhampur to Baramulla. It is the part of Udhampur Srinagar Baramulla rail link. This rail link was envisioned to connect Kashmir with the rest of the country. As I have explained you over here, that once Banihal and Katra gets linked, Srinagar will get connected to the rest of the country. Now this Chenab Bridge, it is 35 meters higher than the Eiffel Tower. It can sustain the wind speed of 266 km per hour and the earthquake intensity of 8 on a Richter scale. Richter scale is the scale to measure the earthquake intensity. There is one more scale which is called as Mercalli scale. Mercalli scale, MERCALLI. Mercalli scale is used to measure the damage caused by earthquake. Richter scale is used to measure the earthquake intensity or energy released by the earthquake. Now this bridge can also withstand the high intensity blast. Okay, now the important point in this bridge is that there is a steel arc. There is a steel arc of Katra Banihal section which has been built over Chenab Gorge. Chenab Gorge means deep valley. Chenab is flowing downside, and on the top we have built an arc so that we can build the railway line. Now Green Climate Fund. Now in order to finance the adaptation and mitigation of climate change, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change came up with the financial mechanism in 2011 so that developed country can mobilize fund to help the developing country to adopt climate friendly technology. Okay, it was established in 2010 in Cancun Agreement with the aim to mobilize $100 billion fund by 2020 from developed countries. Now this is very important from exam point of view, that the fund is based on Incheon in South Korea. Now the 50% of the fund which will be collected will be used for financing mitigation, and 50% of the fund will be used for financing adaptation. Now the related topic with this is Paris climate change, and what is the goal of Paris Climate Agreement. The goal of the Paris Climate Agreement is to keep the global temperature below 2 degrees Celsius, and ideally below 1.5 degrees Celsius from pre-industrialization era. Okay, the baseline of Paris climate change is pre-industrialization era, the temperature in that era. Recently, John Kerry, the United States President envoy on climate change, visited India, and this term net zero emission target was in news. What is the meaning of this news? The net zero emission target is that we are absorbing more carbon as compared to what we are emitting. It means that we become net zero, that we are not emitting any extra carbon. Whatever we are emitting, we are absorbing it also. That is called as net zero emission target. So see, net zero emission target means countries' emission will be compensated by absorption and removal of greenhouse gases from the atmosphere by implementing or by creating the carbon sink. Carbon sink is a concept in which we capture the emitted carbon by using the technology and we store it underground. Okay, now see, the United States has an aim to achieve this net zero emission target by 2050. Bhutan is a country which is presently carbon negative country, means it is emitting less and absorbing more. Now see the next question. Renewable energy target of India by 2030 is how much? So it is 450 megawatt. Now air bubble agreement. India has signed an air bubble agreement with lot of country. So recently also this was in news. So what is an air bubble agreement? Air bubble agreement are reciprocal and temporary arrangement in which carriers, means air carriers of two countries resume their international flight. It means what? Corona is already going on. There is pandemic. There are restrictions on international flights. No flights are traveling between two countries. So individual countries have come up with air bubble agreement that if they find other country to be safe, so they resume the air flight operations with that country. This is called as air bubble arrangement, sorry. Okay, they are also known as transport bubble. This air bubble arrangement was first time came into effect when three Baltic countries, which are Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, they entered into an agreement between themselves. Now India has the air bubble agreement with how many countries? With 28 countries. So see, this is the question. Recently on 10th April, India signed the air bubble agreement with which country in the SAARC region? So the answer is it signed with Sri Lanka. Now several questions before we end this session. So identify the incorrect statement. A. European Union has recently launched digital green certificate. China is the first country to launch vaccine passport. Sputnik 5 is Russian made COVID vaccine, or none of the above. Now see, European Union has recently launched digital green certificates allowing the person who have been cured of corona or have received the corona vaccination or whose reports have corona reports are negative, they will be given the digital green certificates and they can travel in European Union. The objective is to promote tourism and travel. Yes, this is also correct. China is the first country to launch vaccine passport and Sputnik 5 is Russian made COVID vaccine. So all are correct. The answer is D. Now consider the next question. Recently, elections for legislative assemblies for Karnataka, West Bengal, Assam and Tamil Nadu were announced in 2021. Sri Sushil Chandra is the new Chief Election Commissioner of India. So the correct answer is B. Only 2 is correct, because recently elections were announced by Election Commission for elections for legislative assemblies of Kerala, West Bengal, Assam, Tamil Nadu. Karnataka, it has not been announced. So here the Karnataka is the wrong option. Kerala will be the right one. And recently Sri Sushil Chandra has been appointed as the 24th Chief Election Commissioner of India. He is a former IRS officer and chairman of Central Board of Direct Taxes. Now India's first green bond has been issued by which of the following? Lucknow Municipal Corporation, Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation, or Meerut Municipal Corporation, or Mumbai Municipal Corporation. So the answer is Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation. This bond has been listed at Bombay Stock Exchange. What are green bond? Green bond means those bonds whose money will be used for creating green infrastructure. That is called as green bond. Now consider the following statement. Singapore has become the first country to sign Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Regional Comprehensive Partnership or RCP is a free trade agreement between ASEAN, 10 countries of ASEAN, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China and South Korea. Yes. So the answer is C. 1 and 2 both are correct. That Singapore has become the first country to sign this project, and it consists of 10 countries of ASEAN, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea and China. India was also formerly the part of RCEP, but it did not sign the RCEP because of certain issues related to origin of place, origin of products rule. Okay, so because of this one objection, India formally declined to be part of RCEP. The last question is that Gangetic dolphin is the national aquatic mammal of India. First statement. The second is Vikramshila Gangetic dolphin country is located in Bhagalpur, Bihar. So the correct answer is 1 and 2 both are correct. That Gangetic dolphin is a national aquatic mammal of India and Vikramshila Gangetic dolphin sanctuary is located in Bhagalpur, Bihar. Recently in Chilka Lake there has been doubling of river dolphin, Irrawaddy river dolphin. In Chilka Lake the number has doubled and this was in news. Thank you everyone.